morning, ladies, and thanks for joining me. This morning we're talking about the lonely leader syndrome. But before we get into it, quick question for you. Do you suspect that you are a lonely leader or that you suffer from the lonely leader syndrome? I'd love for you to put a yes or a 1 in the comments below if this resonates for you. So I'm going to paint you a picture just to help you understand briefly what the lonely leader syndrome is and why it cripples a woman's success in business. So a lonely leader is typically, now think of yourself here, is typically a woman who is well educated. She has a level of specialization, technical knowledge, and because of that she's risen to a level of authority, expertise, and a leadership level. So post a 1 in the comments below if that is you. If you are pointing the way in an organization, perhaps you're leading a team, whether it's in a corporation or whether it's in your own business. You are pointing the way for your own clients. And typically you are the one coming up with the plan, the master plan, the big ideas, and the strategies to lead the way. If any of those qualities remind you of yourself, then post a 1 in the comments below. Are you a lonely leader? Do you feel isolated, cut off, protecting from other people's ideas or influence because you want to stay in your own lane, or isolating because you know that you naturally don't have a lot of peers given your level of expertise and authority or leadership position? If any of that resonates for you, I would love to know. Post a 1 or a yes in the comments below if you truly feel like you are a lonely leader. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 4 ways, there's actually 4 stages of the lonely leader syndrome. And over the coming days, I'm going to actually explain what each of these phases are, what's at stake in each of these level or phases, and what you can do as a prescription so that you do not continue to suffer from the lonely leader syndrome and can continue to lead, grow, expand, and increase your impact as a woman in business. So I'm going to fully explain this, as I said, over the coming days. I'm not a big fan of hour-long videos. I know you've got lots to do. So I'm going to chop this up into bite-sized chunks so that you can digest it over a series of days. So today we're going to talk about the first phase of the lonely leader syndrome. But for those of you who are joining and maybe don't know me or are new to my community, I need to introduce myself. My name is Heather Petherick, and I am the Veteran Success Coach for female business leaders of style, wit, and substance. We're talking about the lonely leader syndrome because I see so many naturally talented, well-educated, ambitious women getting caught in the lonely leader syndrome, and it cripples their success to the point where their success, their momentum, their impact stagnates over a period of time, or worse, begins to decline because they are continually isolated and cut off from the support, the inspiration, the guidance, and the accountability they truly need more than ever before because of their position of leadership. So what happens when you become a lonely leader? Let me paint a picture for you. And for those of you who are joining us live, post a 2 if this resonates for you. These are what sets the stage for you becoming a lonely leader in business. It could be that you have gone out on your own. You have developed your own business. You're an entrepreneur or a solo business owner. Post a 2 if that resonates with you. Or it could be that you have accepted a new and exciting, lucrative promotion in your corporate career, and it's now time for you to ante up and step into that next role. Post a 2 if that resonates for you. It could be that you are a well-established business owner and that you have anteed up in some new way. Maybe you've invested in new team, new systems and processes, or maybe you've even leased or purchased a new location to operate from, and it's going all in at a whole new level. Again, post a 2 if that resonates for you. It could also be that you know that things are changing at home. Maybe the dynamics of your personal life have changed, and now you find yourself, either willingly or thrust upon you the circumstances where you are now the sole or primary income earner, and it feels like it's all on you from a financial standpoint. So you can become unknowingly, unwittingly, a lonely leader for any of these reasons. And flashing red lights, cautionary flag, if more than one of these situations is resonating for you, whether you're anteing up in your career, expanding your team, investing in your business, or whether you are the primary or sole income earner for your family. All of these situations and circumstances set the stage for you becoming a lonely leader and not even knowing it. But what happens as a lonely leader is that this first stage that we're talking about in today's video is what I call the anteing up phase. Now there's 4 phases that I'm going to talk to you about over the series of the next few days. But today we're just talking about the first phase of the lonely leader syndrome, which is the anteing up. So this is where you've gone all in your business, or you've accepted a new promotion or expanded your team in some way. You have invested time, money, energy, and it's time to bring it. Well, this first stage is where a few important behaviors get set up that continue on this path or continue to isolate and become lonely and unsupported. So think about when you ante up in your business or in your career, what happens? Psychologically, you begin to think that it's all on you, that the stakes are incredibly high, and that you need to control all of the variables because all eyes are on you. So you tend to put on a mask. Post a 3 if this resonates for you. It certainly was for me when I went all in on my business. Have you ever, when someone, and even quite lovingly asks you and says, hey, how is business going? Or how's the new job going? And you put on that mask and you say, oh, everything's great. Oh, it's so exciting. The mask, wherein the truth can be that you are scared out of your boots about the level of authority, responsibility, and the financial pressures that are now facing you. But you put on that mask because you want to appear in control, buttoned down, totally got this. Post a 3 if that resonates for you. This behavior of putting on a mask when anyone asks you how things are going. Now, we do this for a great reason, right? Oftentimes when we ante up in our career or business, it's not just us anymore, right? We're taking care of the family finances, or we've now promised jobs and income to employees or team members, or we've taken on the leadership of other team members and we are pointing the way for them. They're looking for us for direction. And as a leader in a position of authority, we must point the way for those around us, whether it's at home in the finances or in our work with team members. And we can truly feel like it's all on us and we've got to have all the answers. And by showing any vulnerability, any uncertainty, we feel like that undermines our power of position and authority. So what do? We put on a mask. And that's the first phase of the lonely leader syndrome. Hey, Shulamit, she says, I don't put on a mask, but I do share with others because they don't get it. They are not leaders. I'm just reading your comment, Shulamit. They are not leaders themselves. Oh my, OMG. I'm so glad you're here, Shulamit, because that is exactly one of the characteristics of being a lonely leader, is that because of our level of expertise or our uniqueness in who we are and what we're striving for, we are naturally different than the majority of the population. Now, that doesn't mean that we are a bunch of snobs or that we're better than anybody else, but it means that not everyone is going to understand our ambition, our vision, and the direction that we are moving in our career or our business. We naturally, as we become leaders, have fewer peers that understand. Family members, old friendships, even old colleagues sometimes fall away or question what we are doing when we continue to strive forward. They don't get it. Great point, Shulamit. So this first phase of the lonely leader syndrome is all about you beginning to isolate, putting on a mask, or feeling like you need to control all of the variables because it's all on you, right? The stakes are high and you've got to make this work. That's phase number 1. Now there's 3 other phases to the lonely leader syndrome, and they are kind of like this cascade of steps that almost like a Plinko ball. Do you remember that on The Price is Right? That you naturally fall to the lower levels the longer you hold a position of authority, leadership, and a level of expertise. But I want to talk about what the stakes really are just at the first level, because this is, I think it's really the biggest pitfall or biggest obstacle that I see my clients of unshakable business leaders fall into and fall victim to that stagnates their success, slows their momentum, and in some situations when they don't get the prescription or the solution, they can actually backslide. And what's at stake? Well, loss of income for sure. When you've anteed up in your career or your business at a high level and you aren't being supported, inspired, guided, and kept accountable to continue to move forward, there can be a loss of momentum and a loss of income. Associated with that sometimes is a loss of reputation. If you step into a new level of leadership and authority, particularly in a career or as a solo entrepreneur, there can be a loss of reputation of going all in and then having to admit that maybe you didn't have what it took. Certainly that comes with a loss of confidence if at some point you realize it's just not working for you. You thought you had what it takes, you thought you had the ambition, the talent, the discipline, and the results aren't there. That can be a huge hit to a woman's confidence. It can also have a spill-off effect in our relationships. When we're coming home stressed out, feeling the pressure of increased levels of authority and responsibility, we can sometimes not without intention, but bring that stress home to important relationships with our children and our partners, and certainly our friendships. And at the worst situation, what is most at stake is a woman giving up on her dreams, her vision for the impact she has to make and the income she deserves. So there's an incredible amount of stock, or the incredible amount of there's a lot at stake for a businesswoman who is suffering from lonely leader syndrome. So in this video, I've shared with you what the first phase of the lonely leader syndrome is, which is what I call the anteing up phase. Now, you may have gotten to the ante up phase years ago, but have been operating as a lonely leader years later. So what I want you to know that regardless of what phase of the lonely leader syndrome you are in, the prescription is always the same. It is to get access to a highly curated of like-minded businesswomen. You know, as a lonely leader, we can naturally isolate because, as Shulamit pointed out, we think that nobody gets it or nobody's going to understand, or fewer people will understand who we are and what we're all about. And that can lead us to pull away from past friendships and certainly outgrow old networking relationships. Because as we grow, so too must our network and our colleagues and our connections. As we increase the caliber of our lives, so too must we increase the caliber of the women or the relationships in our lives. So strategically, one of the best ways to solve the lonely leader syndrome is to intentionally get access to a higher caliber of business women that you can share with, mastermind with, share strategies, inspiration, and downright good old sisterhood support. It's like becoming or getting access to a secret garden, right? When you look out at the rock stars in business or in your industry that are lighting it up, you will always find, if you look closely, those women who continue to grow, expand, and build their empire are the ones that secretly have a group of peeps that have their back, that aren't caught in drama, blaming, victimization, but are at the same or slightly higher level than they are. And because of that association and that connection, it naturally brings your momentum with it. It's like a rising tide raises all ships. That's one of the key solutions or remedies to the lonely leader syndrome, is getting access to a higher caliber of business women, even a coach or a mastermind that can support, inspire, guide, and help you stay accountable to the dreams and visions that you have. Getting individual support, coaching, and accountability is by far the quickest and best, most loving solution to the lonely leader syndrome. So if in today's video, what I've shared with you resonates, if you know that you identify with suffering from the lonely leader syndrome, that as being a woman of a level of expertise and authority, pointing the way in your business or your organization, growing your team and wanting to grow your impact and income, if you know you are a lonely leader, isolating, even unintentionally, from old relationships or outside influences, or putting on a mask because you want everyone to think everything's great, then I want you to know about an important opportunity right now. I am on March 1st kicking off my Unshakable Business Leader program. It is the secret garden for high caliber business leaders like yourself, whether you're an entrepreneur or leading from inside an organization. The Unshakable Business Leader program combines the best of private coaching, regular masterminding with other savvy and intelligent businesswomen, and regular retreats to keep you restored and inspired as you seek to grow your income and your impact. Now, that opportunity kicks off March 1st, and I do not want you to miss that opportunity if you know that 2019 is your year to reach that next level. If you have anteed up in your business and you know the stakes are high, then I do not want you suffering for the rest of 2019 from the lonely leader syndrome and stagnating your momentum, or at worst, backsliding and losing money, reputation, confidence, and eroding relationships. So if that's of interest to you and you're curious about working with me, then I'll actually put in a link below our video where you can fill out a form for an application to the Unshakable Business Leaders program. Now, why is there an application? Because let me be clear, it is not for every woman. It is a carefully curated of high caliber, naturally intelligent, and big thinking women that are truly committed to success in 2019. It is not open to everyone, and so we're very careful on matching the personalities that come together in this intimate cohort. But if you are interested in looking at that opportunity and becoming one of our exclusive members of the Unshakable Business Leader program this year, then fill out the application. There's a jot form just below this video that I'll drop in. Click the link, answer a few questions, and then I will personally reach out to you and we'll have a conversation to see if it's a fit for you this year. So again, we're talking all about the lonely leader syndrome for naturally intelligent, skilled women who are leading a business, either as an entrepreneur or inside a large organization, pointing the way for others. It's important that you find the right support and inspiration and guidance to stay a powerful leader and become unshakable on your path to success. So post your comments and questions below about what I've shared today on the phase 1 of the lonely leader syndrome. Next week, Monday through Wednesday, I'll be sharing with you the 3 other phases of the lonely leader syndrome, what they're like, the behavior at each stage, and the solution so that you do not continue to suffer. Thanks very much for joining me today, Schulman, and the rest of you beautiful ladies. Thanks for being here. My name's Heather Petherick. Take care and have a great Friday.